The ball is on the immovable obstruction, which is also called an abnormal course condition. If the ball is on it, or you have to stand on it, or it affects your swing or your stance, right? So we get a free one and we get a drop. And how do we drop? Now it's at the knee. And so how do we decide what the nearest point of relief is? The rule says we need to find the nearest point of complete relief. So first we find the nearest point, and there's two clubs that we're dealing with. You find your nearest point of complete relief with the club you would be using. You measure your 1 club length or 2 club lengths with your driver. Do we need to actually bring the driver to measure?
Yes.
No. The rules say you do not. You can estimate what the length of your driver is to measure that 1 or 2 club lengths. But in order to determine my nearest point of complete relief, I'm going to leave the ball where it is, and I'm going to say, where would my club head be, where would the ball be if I no longer am affected by this immovable obstruction? And it's probably right here. If the ball was here, it might be over here, but you kind of look on both sides and see which one is closer to the ball. And then you go, okay, that's my nearest point of complete relief, no closer to the hole. And now I have within 1 club length, which is my driver. It's actually your longest club in your bag except for your putter. So if you have a driver, if you don't have a driver and you only use a 3-wood as the longest, it would be your 3-wood.
So when you're talking about the closest point of relief, you mean the point where the ball moves, the distance between the ball, where the ball is moving. So in other words, I couldn't take relief on this side because as a right-handed player, I'd be moving it way further than I'd be moving it over here.
Yeah, so if we want to see which one is closer, you would put your feet there where you have complete relief in your stance and your swing from the immovable obstruction, and this is the club I would be using, so the ball would go either here or the ball would go here. Again, complete relief.
Those are acceptable?
The nearest point is what we're looking for.
That was my question.
So,
You can't take it on, because you would want to take it on the level spot, but you can't because that's a shorter distance.
and sometimes the other side of a cart path or some other immovable obstruction, sometimes that other side is near. It depends if you're right or left-handed, etc. In this case, we put a little tee down and a little tee down, and we know that this one is closer to the ball. So that's going to be our nearest point of complete relief. So from there, now I get 1 club length, which is normally my driver if I have a driver. And so I can estimate it. Well, there's my 7-iron, so I know my driver's a little bit further, and that's okay. So now I get to drop within these two. And there's a lot of technical terms about relief area, etc. But this is your relief area as long as it's not closer. And I'm going to drop at knee height. I have a little bit of a bad back, so I kind of have to squat a little bit. But I make sure that squatting doesn't bring the ball lower. I still kind of squat, but maybe bring my hand a little bit higher. The ball has to touch the ground first. It can touch me after the ground, or my equipment after it hits the ground, but it has to touch the ground first. And now that's a good drop.
You can drop anywhere in a semicircle between them.
Correct. No closer to the hole. Yes, exactly. And as you kind of think of that little pie shape, then I can pick these up and then hit.